The first thing you're going to want to do is decide if you're playing the basic version of the game or the advanced version of the game. If you're playing the basic version, you're going to want to take out all the cards with the plus symbol in the bottom left-hand corner. I'm going to take those out for now, but I'll teach you how to play the advanced version again. It's very similar to the basic version. With those out of the way, you're now going to sort your cards into a couple different piles. Make sure everyone has a player reference card. Any orange back cards you're going to place in the center of the table. And place them into their own separate piles, so you have 3 locations, 3 weapons, and 6 suspects. Then each player at the table is going to get a white-backed case file card that matches all of the cards in the center. So you will have 6 white-backed character cards, 3 white-backed weapon cards, and 3 white-backed location cards. If you're playing with less than 4 players, then you should have selected cards. Just put those back in the box. You won't need them. Now you're going to go back to the orange cards in the center. You take all the location cards, shuffle them up so no one can see them, and randomly put 1 into the confidential envelope. And you're going to put 1 for weapons into the confidential envelope, and you guessed it, 1 of the suspects randomly into the confidential envelope. Boom. Now you're going to take the remaining orange back cards in the center. You're going to shuffle them up. And remember, no one should see any of these cards yet. And then you're going to evenly distribute them to all players. If you can't evenly deal out cards to all players, then any remaining cards go into the center, face up their public knowledge. So now each player is going to pick up all of their cards, putting it in their hand, keeping them secret, and then eliminate any suspects that they know are not in the envelope. So any orange back cards they have in their hand obviously can't be in the confidential envelope, and that's how you're going to win the game, is by predicting the suspect, weapon, and location inside of the envelope. So now with your hand, what you're going to do is you're going to eliminate any possible suspects. How you do that is take that matching white back card and put it down in front of you. So I have the kitchen card right here. I know that can go face down. Likewise, this knife is obviously not in there, and Professor Plum, he didn't do it, so I can put it face down in this pile, and I won't need to touch this pile the rest of the game. The oldest player is going to go first, and you're going to go clockwise around the table, and on your turn, you have 2 choices. You can either try to gather information, or you can try to accuse and win the game. Typically, though, you're going to be asking questions, and this is really quite simple. You're going to look at your hand, and you're going to decide what 2 items you would like to ask the player to your left about. So, for instance, I might ask about the candlestick and the rope. You can ask about any 2 cards, including cards that are in your hand, just to throw people off. So now the player over here is going to look at their orange back cards and see if they have the candlestick or the rope. If they do have one or both of those, they have to slide me one of those orange cards so I can take a look at it and then slide it back to them. If you happen to have both the cards on request, you get to pick which one you give to them. And pro tip, you're probably going to give them one they've already seen. However, if the player to your left does not have one of the 2 orange back cards you asked about, then it goes to the next player on the left, and they now have to give you that information if they have it. So sure enough, they do have the candlestick, so they would slide that candlestick over here, I would take a look at it, I would slide it back, and then I would take the candlestick out of my hand and place it down here because I now know it is not in the confidential envelope. And if no one claims to have information about the 2 cards you listed off, well then you just got yourself some really valuable information. But let's say you've gotten to the point where you think you might know what's in the envelope. Instead of asking questions on your turn, you're going to say that you want to accuse, and you're going to place down the 3 white back cards that you believe correspond to what's in the confidential envelope. And then you're going to ask if anyone else wants to make an accusation as well. If no one else does, you peek inside the envelope and see if your cards match what's inside there. If you do, congrats, you've won the game. If not, you have lost the game, but you still need to stay in the game and answer questions for other people. You can't ask any questions though, and you don't get to accuse. Now let's rewind though and pretend when this player accused, another player actually did want to jump in on the accusation. So how this works is you want to try and jump in as fast as you can. Because let's say this person accused, and this person accused, and this person accused. Well, it's this player's turn, so they'll get to pull their accusation off first. However, between these 2 players, whoever first said that they wanted to accuse as well will be the ones that get to go second, and then you guys said the other player will go third. Now what's really important to note about this accusation phase is, if anyone ever jumps on the bandwagon and says, hey, I'll accuse with you as well, that will trigger the end of the game. So everyone will end up making an accusation. And how this works is all players should have the 3 cards that they believe are inside the envelope in front of themselves, and then whoever the accuser is going to reveal those 3 cards since the game is over. And then you see, check this person first, did they win, did they win, did they win? And if nobody won, then you'll all lose, and the criminal has outwitted you all. Also, don't forget, your player reference card is super helpful. Consult this whenever you need to. But that was Cluedo Suspect the Card Game, the basic version of the game. Let's talk about the advanced version of the game and the 2-player version. Now, if you're playing the advanced version of the game, there's no real changes to the game. You're just going to have 2 additional locations and 1 additional weapon. At the beginning of the game, you're going to make sure that everyone has 1 pistol, 1 hall, and 1 living room, in addition to their normal cards. Likewise, the 2-player version of the game is very similar to all the other versions of the game, except once one player decides they want to accuse, the other player then has to accuse after them, and the game will be over. Correct or incorrect?